This is the exact thumbnail system that got me over 60 million views. So if you're struggling with thumbnails, please copy this. So 2 years ago, we had a problem. I had a really good idea, but I didn't have a thumbnail for it. So what did I do? So I did some research and I landed on a thumbnail format that would completely change my YouTube career. It's this format that shows extreme contrast, a before and an after. Now in this video, we're gonna cover the thumbnail we developed, the secret to fire contrast in your thumbnail, how to pick the right characters for your visuals, and how to master realism so you get the most clicks possible. Now there's two main rules you wanna follow. First, you want to create clear visual contrast between the two elements in your before and after thumbnail. And secondly, you want your thumbnail to show extreme contrast. I'm going to deep dive into both of these, so let's get into it. So we have an example of clear contrast and contrast that's not so clear. So on this thumbnail on this side, you have the same background, the same character, the same clothes. Everything is identical except for the action they want you to look at, creating that really interesting contrast. Versus on this other thumbnail here, the backgrounds are different, the angles are different, the specific elements you're showing is different, so the contrast is not as effective. Here's more examples of really, really good contrast. So you have on this side 21 million views, and you have the same girl, and the only thing that's changing is the colors on either side. Same thing with this one. The background is the same, the colors are the same, the only thing that changes is the specific texture of this element, creating a really interesting contrast. So this is kind of a visual to really show you like the most extreme spectrums of the contrast. So most people make a thumbnail like this, where it is white and slightly gray. So you have somewhat good contrast. But to bring contrast to the most extreme, you want this sort of contrast, which is like black versus white, which is the most extreme you can get. You can't go more extreme than the black is black, and you can't go more extreme than the white is white. You want that really extreme contrast to really make your main element pop. Here's some more examples of extreme contrast. We have this basketball here where the court is the same, the background is the same, the hand is the same, the font. The only thing that really changes is the shape of the basketball, which is that contrast, which is the intrigue element we want you to look at. Now I know what some of you guys are thinking. Wait a second, this thumbnail is a bit clickbaity. So there's this really interesting thing, which is that this channel, Rebound, does extreme clickbait in their thumbnails. I mean, you have this court, this earthquake, and this court rising, and then a player's underwear ripping, or a player's pants ripping. But this has millions of views. How do they get away with this? Well, and even crazier, there's thousands of comments and no one cares. So one thing you have to realize is that clickbait is niche dependent. So depending on what niche you're making content in, you can get away with clickbait or not. So a great example of this is science channels. If you're talking about scientific theories and specific stuff that is either fact or not, you can't really clickbait because you're not going to get away with it, and also you're just hurting your own authority. Versus if you're in more entertainment, you can get away with certain levels of clickbait because the goal of the video isn't to teach you something, the goal of the video is to entertain you. So as long as the core premise of the video is over-delivered on, viewers don't care about the clickbait. So moving forward, our two rules is to create clear visual contrast and extreme contrast. So creating clear visual contrast. What is the part of this thumbnail that makes you the most curious? So with this thumbnail that we made, the backgrounds were identical. The clothing is identical. Even the angle of the image is identical for both sides. The only thing that really changes is the mask on and the mask off. And then we have that hilarious humor of his nose actually being that long. And so that is the main aspect of the clarity, which is you want to make everything in your thumbnail as clear as possible so that the main intrigue element is the thing that pops out the most. Secondly, character selection. So why did we pick this specific character to put it in our thumbnail? Well, he's one of the most recognizable characters in this show, but not just for fans, for anyone who's watched the show. He appears in the first 4 episodes of the first season, and he really stands out when he appears, making him one of the best characters we could put in the thumbnail. Now, the final step to really make your contrast thumbnails extremely clear is to not deviate from the original image as much as possible. If you look at the original screenshot of the frame in the movie, and then you look at ours, it's almost identical. All we've done is change the background to make it pop more and just increase the colors, increase the saturation on the image. Besides that, it's identical. It makes the overall image just a lot more believable. And that's the final step of making really good contrast thumbnails. A lot of the time, you're gonna be clickbaiting, or your main intrigue point for that thumbnail is gonna be something that's funny, something that's extreme, something that's a bit unbelievable. And you want the viewer to, one, look at that thing first and make it realistic enough so that they kind of believe that it's true so that you'll get the click. If you can get all those steps figured out, you're gonna make amazing thumbnails that will get millions of views. Now, if you struggle with thumbnails and you wanna keep improving your thumbnail skill, I made this video right here where I cover a 2-minute thumbnail hack that'll improve your thumbnails like crazy. Go check it out. Peace.